So we've got Kristen Middleton here, who's trotting into town on her high horse. Let's see what she has to say. It's a fact that those chickens don't want to die for your meal. It's also a fact that the animal agriculture is harming our planet far more than the oil industry. Actually, I think I can agree with that. You have no reason to be proud of what you are doing because all I see is harm and cruelty. And that portion, that's just total bullshit. But let's get there. So yes, I agree that the chickens don't want to die. Yeah. I agree that animal agriculture, conventional animal agriculture, is far more destructive than the oil industry is currently. I can agree with that. I mean, the oil industry is under how many, everybody's on them all the time. You know, they're trying to leave their wellheads in like better than before shape just to make sure they don't get ridden by all these activists. And, you know, maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. But animal agriculture, no, you can set up a feedlot and just, you know, pulverize the countryside with your stench, and you can set up these industrial chicken barns and nobody wants to be around for miles when the wind blows a little. It's ugly, it's gross, it's evil, it's horrible, and the end product is tastes terrible and poisons you. So, you know, that's not good. I don't have anything good to say about it. I agree that it's worse than the oil industry because, as you may have seen in one of my last videos, everybody thinks it's okay to farm this way because we have to feed the world, which our farmland produces more nutrition per acre than any industrial farm. So if we're talking the actual purpose of food being to nourish people, we're making much more nourishment per acre. You know, it's pretty easy because we're not killing people, so that helps. However, let's tie into the end here. I have no reason to be proud of what I'm doing because all I see is harm and cruelty. Hashtag go vegan. If you know, I've had a few things to say about veganism over the years, and it's the most delusional, just crap that I can even comprehend. Like, you don't know anything, Christian, about farming. You don't know how much I care about my animals. You certainly haven't been around to see if there's harm or foul. You just think that because an animal is dying and I'm orchestrating that life and that death, that I'm an evil man and I'm essentially guilty of murder. But here's the things you don't know. If I took my pasture out back there that has, you know, I got about 40 acres in the back. If I were to plow that up with a disc to grow your carrots and your lettuce and your beans or whatever it is that vegetable crops you would purchase, I would kill more pounds of microbes and worms than I would if I went out there once a year and harvested the 8 steers I can finish on that. So there'd be more animals dying if I plowed it up to grow your vegetables than if I harvested the cattle. You know. And also, you know, I'm sure as a vegan you're okay with eating bread. So go talk to all the local farmers in the countryside about the wheat harvest, and they'll all have a horrible story to tell you about prying a fawn out of their combine header. There was actually a really interesting review of farmers in Australia, and they were growing garden peas, and they were asked to keep a tally of how many wallabies and kangaroos and wild deer they had to shoot just to protect their pea harvest for, you know, people who want to eat peas, including vegans, right? So animals are always dying. People are always dying. If you have a section of wilderness, okay, there are deer in there, there's all kinds of prey, and there's all kinds of predators, and the weak get picked off and they get mercilessly ravaged by wolves. It's ugly out there. So, and the death is essentially wasted. But now, I come along and I take that same piece of wilderness and I orchestrate it and I organize it and I care for my animals. And rather than having half-eaten carcasses rotting on the countryside, you know, none of my animals die for no reason. None of them die being chased and in terror. I protect them all from predators. If a lamb has a bad leg, I brace it. If they injure their feet, I take care of it. Even if chickens and turkeys injure their legs, I put them in a rehabilitation section where there's no competition, and I'm caring for them, each animal individually. And but you come along and all you see is harm and cruelty. But you know, and maybe you're an exception. I have reason to believe otherwise just by statistics. But you know, how come you don't see the vegan community saying, you know what's really wrong? Abortion. Right? How is it that like 98% of the vegans I've dealt with think abortion's okay? You know, oh, let's not harm a chicken or a turkey, but you know, unborn children, yeah, no problem. Let's cut them up and put them in the garbage. Let's put them in the incinerator. Yeah, no problem there. So like I call hypocrisy on the movement. Maybe you're an exception. I'd love to hear so. But the real issue here is that you don't know anything about farming. And I know it by the way that you're talking here. You don't know anything. You don't know that, for example, one of the huge things is soy, right? Soy is the closest thing to an animal protein that you can grow as a plant, right? So it's all the rage now that the veganism has gone through the roof. And the GMO soy production in the United States is destroying everything. And not just the United States, South America, even in China, it's a hugely destructive force. And you know, even if you're talking organic vegetable production, even if you're soy-free, like you realize that you know, we have a local organic carrot grower, and he grows carrots in the soil for 2 years, and then he rotates the field into alfalfa, and then people buy that alfalfa for their cattle. So he's still involved in animal agriculture, and that's still where you get the fertility, you know. And he's using fish meal to grow his carrots. So now you've got animals feeding the plants that you're now eating and wiping your hands clean of animal death. You know, and I guess hashtag go vegan, right? So now I can't have any honey either. So when I get a call from Burger King and they've got a swarm of bees in their dumpster, I shouldn't go to town and rescue that hive and take it back to my farm and stick it in a box where they can be safe, and then plant wildflowers for them so that they can forage, and then always make sure that I weigh their hive before winter and make sure they have enough honey to last the winter and insulate them so they don't die. I'm not allowed to have that relationship with a bee in exchange for honey? Like, are you out of your damn mind? Come on. But it's all hashtag go vegan. You know, it's like some self-righteous religious crusade, totally detached from reality, like most religion is. And it's like a mile marker for how far our society has traveled away from reality and the biological umbilical. You know, it's like taking a child and taking them out of the womb and so far from the mother that the umbilical cord breaks. That's how far you are away from this living earth. That's how disconnected you are. But you'll come in here and tell me, we have no reason to be proud of what we're doing. Now, I'm not really going to gauge what we're doing on whether or not I'm proud of it, but I know damn well it's the right thing to do. And as far as the damage that animal agriculture is doing to the planet, do you realize that rotationally grazing cattle and running pastured animals is the fastest way to rebuild topsoil on planet Earth? So if we're talking about taking carbon dioxide and putting it back into the soil, that's what we're doing here, right? My soil's deeper every year, which means that the water that falls on the ground is filtered and it's cleaner. We're making a better planet. We're providing an ecological service. But you come along and what? Because you've seen a few stinky farms, you think you know what we do here? You think you can come on our Facebook feed and trash us? You are an idiot extraordinaire. That's what you are. Just a complete damned idiot. And I'm so tired of people coming along and trashing our business and with their ignorant crap. You don't know what you're talking about. Come and prove me otherwise. Come and respond and talk to me about morality. Come and present me with a system that doesn't kill any animals. Like, what do you think happens when you dig up a carrot? You don't think there's any worms dying? Talk to me. Come up with a system that has no animal death. And let's reason together. But until you have a solution, I suggest you keep your self-righteous mouth shut, Kristen.